What's up, guys? Back again with another vlog. It is 2:38 in the morning. Today was pretty interesting day. Um, it was really hot today. It was like 28 degrees, but it felt way worse because it was so humid outside because of the rain last night. So it was really hot. I had to walk to work today and I was sweating. And just going outside for even just a little bit, you would instantly sweat. It was not fun. Um, Thankfully, I was inside today for my shift. I was on a dining room host, so that was pretty chill. Wasn't super busy. Got to like talk with coworkers and stuff. So that was pretty nice. But yeah, I got home. I read a lot actually. I'm getting close to the ending of the book that I'm reading, Stranded Season 9. I'm like almost at the end. I still have a little bit more to read, but I'm almost done. I'm excited to finish it. Um, definitely, definitely not what I expected just yet, but it's a pleasant surprise. I'll just say that. And yeah, watched an episode of my show with my boyfriend. He's still a bit sad for sure about his dog dying. But yeah, it was really sad. But he feels a bit better about it now. And yeah, and then I wrote for quite a bit as well today. I started writing this story called The Endless Tower, and I finished like a little chapter, just like handwritten, not on the computer. But it's low-key interesting, and I'm enjoying writing it so far. It's got me thinking for sure, and I don't know if I'll continue it, but it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Basically, what I have so far is this guy wakes up. His name's Max. He wakes up and, or maybe not, he wakes up. He just opens his eyes, and in front of him is this gargantuan tower made out of stone, and it's just going so high up he can't even see like where it ends. It just goes straight into the sky endlessly. And around him is only grassy plains, nothing else in sight except for the tower. And it's not like super massive diameter. It's like, I in my head it's like 50-meter diameter, which is like 150 something meters circumference. So still pretty big. But for a tower that's going super, super, super high up, like endlessly, makes you wonder, like, how stable is this structure? How does this make sense? And basically, what I have so far is he mentions the last thing he remembered was going on a hike with his boyfriend named Parker, and they were at this beautiful vista of like a lake, and there's a waterfall. But then all of a sudden he's here. That's the last thing he remembers. So it goes in the tower. There's like a little arch for a human, like a human-sized arch to go in. Goes in, pile of dead bodies just in the middle of the tower. And you can like see the stages of decay. So like the ones at the bottom are skeletons, the ones at the top are like fresh, you know. And it's like a massive pile of bodies just in the center of the tower. And then around it is like a spiral staircase, like along the edges of the walls, that goes up and up and up as far as the eye can see. And the main character Max, he says like, "What the fuck?" And that scares someone else who's actually in the tower too. Someone named Leonard, who he shortly meets just above him, who's on the spiral staircase. And then they talk for a bit, and then they agree that the best way to go is up. And that's what I've read in so far. And I already have an idea for like what it represents, how I want it to end, and like some potential things that I could write in. Like I wanna my theory for this book is that it's like a representation of purgatory, you know, an in-between of life and death. And I am gonna go more in depth with like the characters and their backstories, like what is, I still need to figure out exactly what Leonard last remembered. I think I'm gonna do something along the lines of like he was driving in his car and he got distracted by something his like boyfriend said. Because I want them to be gay, of course, and fall in love, of course, you know, in purgatory. Then they look up and it's just like there's some source of light at the top, but they can't see it. Like it's not like it's like pitch black in the tower. Like they can see still. And if they look up, there's like a distant light. Like it's just white at the top. But they can't like really see that far. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I'm trying to visualize. Like if you're in a tower that goes endlessly up, what do you see at the end? Does your vision just like, does it just go black because it's so high up that like the sun can't reach? Or is it like the clouds like block the sun or whatever? Like I'm trying to think like how that would work. Maybe I have like windows occasionally alongside the tower, which like brings in the sunlight, so that even if you look up, like even if it's pitch black at the top, there's still lights coming in from the sides. I don't know. I still have to think about that, but I can write whatever I want, so yeah, I can write it however I wish. But yeah, it's interesting so far. We'll see how it goes and if I'll continue it, but that's the idea I have so far. I basically want the ending to be like this big plot twist, but and I know I have an idea already for how I want to do that, but I need to actually like write this first before I do anything. So yeah, I'm not gonna say any more, but it's an interesting idea. I think I want it to be like pretty existential in nature. So yeah. And you know what? Who cares? I'll just say it out loud. I want Parker, the boyfriend, at the end, or near the end, it's revealed that he's the one who killed Max. And Max is in purgatory. And then at the end, Max wakes up. He made it to the top of the tower. And once he makes it to the top, he is revived and brought back to life. And he awakes. He's bleeding from the head. He was clearly hit in the back of the head with a rock. He can't see his boyfriend Parker anywhere. He's just left there lying, bleeding on the ground at this vista while he was hiking. And he looks around and Leonard is nowhere nearby. And at this point, like Leonard and Max have been like in the tower for like years or some shit. And like they like had a life together. They like, you know, forgot about their past lives, like with their boyfriends. They fell in love. But then they make it to the top and he's back to his old life. And then, I don't know, maybe Max kills himself at the end to get back to where he was with Leonard, hopefully in some weird twisted way. Or he tries to find Leonard in real life, you know, after they discuss where, like, all the past things they did, you know. assuming Leonard survives. And I want there to be like a scene where like they're walking up the staircase when out of nowhere they hear screaming from the top or from above them. And then it gets closer and closer and closer. And then boom, you hear someone screaming as they fall all the way to the bottom. And it just like zips past them real quick. And then the screams get quieter and quieter and quieter as the person keeps dropping lower and lower away from them. But they don't hear a thud because they're so high up, they don't hear anything except for this screaming as the person falling passes by. Isn't that crazy? Because obviously at the bottom of the tower, right, there's a pile of dead bodies, so obviously people are falling from the tower. But I don't want it to be like a common occurrence. I want it to be like a shock when it does happen, you know? So I want something like that. I think that would be really cool. And I want the tower to be weird, you know, like I don't want it to just be a spiral staircase the whole way up. I want there to be like rooms and windows, and instead maybe you have to do like a climbing portion, like a rock climbing portion. You know, I don't want it to just be a boring staircase the whole time. I want there to be freaky shit as they go up. You know, like random stuff like from their past lives or some shit, you know? So, yeah, that's my thought process behind that. And I think Leonard, like he was like in a car crash or something. That's why I mentioned driving earlier. And he got distracted by something his boyfriend said, and then they both died. Or maybe like his boyfriend died in the crash, but Leonard survived miraculously out of purgatory because he also escaped or something. But yeah, that's my idea. I think it's interesting to think about. So, yeah. I have to actually write it though, which, you know, that's the hard part. Actually, you know, getting in the zone to write, have inspiration, and see where it goes, you know. So, anyways, that's all for today's vlog. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.